We're going to do a lazy oil change. So the problem with oil changes tends to be the sump plug gets stuck. So I've used an impact driver, I've used a breaker bar, and I've used screaming at it, shouting at it, asking it nicely, and does not want to come off at all. So we're going to cheat and we're going to go through dipstick. So this is the one that I chose off Amazon. It's an 80-watt pump, and basically all you do is you put this into the dipstick of your car. You put the other end into a container, so I'm using a 5-litre water container, and it will tell you the flow of which way it's going to go. So in this side, out this side, you've got an on-off switch there, and then you have the crocodile clips that you attach to your battery. So let's check that out. I always like to do a comparison on the jobs that I've done, so you can see that I've paid £43.08. Compared that to £116.22 by Click Mechanic, which was the most affordable one I could find. I do 2 oil changes a year, and I use Shell Helix oil and Bosch filters. For the pump, we need access to the battery terminals, so just simply slide the box off and then remove the dipstick. Oil is very difficult to get out of the driveway, so be careful that you don't drop any. I just trimmed the tube a little bit, and I've put a little bit of tape at the top of the bottle. This is a 5-litre water bottle, and then this is the box that came with the pump, and then we have this bit that goes in the dipstick. I'm going to feed it all the way in. Like so. As always, positive first and then negative. When it comes to remove them, you'll do negative first and then positive. There are other car repair videos around my Insignia on my channel, which includes a full service, which I'm doing part of this for. Although we extracted the oil out of the engine the lazy way, we still need to jack up the car in order to do the oil filter. So for most cars, they tend to be down in the middle somewhere. On my Insignia, it's actually behind this wheel, so I need to take the wheel off, unfortunately. So let's jack up the car. So how do you change a tyre or remove a tyre? So in the boot of your car, you should have a scissor jack that you'll need. You'll also need the little hook that comes with it, so you can lift it up and down. And you should also have one of these tyre irons inside the car. And then if you are replacing tyres or if you're doing anything else, it is recommended to get jack stands. I do not recommend these ones. There were a product recall on them, but we've got what we got. So there tends to be 2 types of tyres, ones with the plastic trims on, so these ones just simply pull off like so, and then you'll have these nuts here. So before you lift the car up, you do need to loosen them, because if you lift the car up and then start to try and loosen them, the whole tyre will actually start to spin. So if you have them at this angle, and by pressing down, you should be able to loosen them. We're only loosening the nuts so we can turn them by hand. We don't want to take them off because we need to jack up the car first before removing the tyre. So what you're looking for underneath the car is a groove, and this will go on that groove, and then you'll lift it up. So as you're spinning it to the right, the jack will go up. As you're rolling it down, it'll go down. So you'll probably find that you'll need to lower it a little bit first before you can actually slide it underneath the car, if you see what I mean. And you can do that by your hand. We want to make sure the scissor jack is near the front of the car as we're removing the front tyre, but also enough space to allow the actual jack stands to hold up the car. So the video doesn't get too long. We've jacked up the car. The jack stands go on the same beam as you would use the scissor jack, and you want both sides jacked up. For those looking to use the sump plug method, which is the traditional way to go and the correct way to go, then it is directly underneath the car, and then you're looking for a metal box with a plug on it. I've used the dipstick method a few times and I've had absolutely no problems. I change the oil twice a year. Now we're going to remove the tyre. So they are pretty loose if you press the tyre in and just put them out of the way. The tyre weighs around 10 kilograms. So although it's not heavy, it still does weigh a bit. So you don't want to drop it on your toes. So this is a 17-inch tyre. I'm going to hold it as you get ready, and then just simply roll it out the way. So if you noticed, I put it half underneath the car. It's just if this jack was to ever to fail, then as far as the car can go is that. The oil housing on this car is just up here. We need a drain pipe, plastic bag, cardboard, and then it's just underneath here, up just this bit. It's in a really awkward position. Don't know why somebody decided that was going to be a good idea to put it. Now you can reach from it up there without having to remove the tyre, but what you end up with is a load of mess underneath. So we're just going to tackle it from underneath. The housing has quite a long thread on there, so you can move the brake line a little bit out of the way. Just be careful of it. So the problem is you see where the tissue is, you have the boot, you have all the bars, everything. So if you just let it run out of there, then it becomes a very messy job, which is why I'm going to use the drain pipe, which goes this way around, just in here. The drain pipe's the perfect shape and it wedges in nicely underneath the filter housing. Like so. If you line your bucket or mop bucket with a bag, then it won't ruin the bucket. Make sure you put some cardboard or something to absorb the excess oil underneath where the filter housing is, because getting oil out of the driveway is an absolute nightmare. It also lasts for a very long time on the driveway. So we have the new oil filter and the old one. So only go in one way. You just clean the housing with some tissue just so there's no old oil left inside. And in the box you'll get the filter, but you'll also get a ring as well. So the ring, just mix it in with some of the old oil, like so, because that will help give it a nice seal when you put it on. Let me show you where that goes. So that goes just here, so you need to kind of pick it out. So scissors or something. Okie dokie, and then the filter will just go in like so. Cool. Wipe up oil from the filter housing first, and then wipe up any excess oil around the car. And with the oil filter, just simply screw it back into place. You'll probably still need to use the ratchet, but don't over tighten it. So the battery on the camera is getting super low. So basically to lower the car, it's the same as jacking it up, but in reverse of course. So you need to put the jack stand under, raise it up a little bit, pull the jack stand out, and then carry on lowering it down. Car's dropped now, so I actually have a torque wrench to do this job correctly. If you don't have a torque wrench, then that does 180 Newton meters, then just tighten them at reasonable tightness so they don't come off. So I know for a fact that the people who did the tires lost mine, because there's no way it would have came off, especially in the enclosure that it's in. But anyway, let's go through. So tighten with your hand, put it on. So using 22 millimeters. You don't really want to ratchet too much, but then you lean on it and you'll hear a click. There we go. And then you want to do like a star pattern. So I'm going to go that one next, then that one, then that one, then I would have done that one, but obviously they lost it. I've replaced all the brakes as well, so if you want to watch the video then it is on the channel, but for these plastic trims just look for where the valve is on the tyre and just line it up like so, and basically just punch into it as you go around. Let's put my leg up there. So it's time to put the oil in. So I use the Shell Helix oil, comes in a 5 litre can. The markings are on the side for convenience. So it's available for pretty much petrol and diesel cars. So if you are looking for a 5W to 30, then the link is in the description below. So with the dipstick method that we used earlier, so this is a 5 litre water container, and you can see that the line is to here. So I'd say it's pulled out about 4 litres in total, and then of course we had the stuff that came from underneath the car, from all that type of stuff, and then you got the cartridge in there, the oil filter. Do also recommend the liquid moly fuel additive. So if you are leaving us from the video from the oil change, then I'm going to be throwing this into the fuel tank. So you use 1 full can per 1 full tank of fuel, so 70 litres on mine. And then another notable product that I use regularly is Bluetooth dongle. So it works with your phone, plug it in, and then basically if you have any problems with the car, it points you in the right direction. It was one of the more expensive ones. The reason I got it is because my actual mechanic uses that brand, the Opel, and this is the AP200. Comes with a lot of different features on there. So it is open, I do use it, I just I don't want to lose it because it's quite a small little thing in total, so I just keep it in the package in there. It's worked for me pretty well, so it's pointed me in the directions of needed to do things. But yeah, let's get this oil in. So we have the dipstick, so mine has a little point from here to here. So hopefully the camera focuses on it. There we go. Go back in the hole, and then oil goes there. Sometimes it reminds you of what type of oil on the cap, and then if you use a bottle, chop that, and then you can use it as a funnel. And here we go. So if you pour it on the side, it allows air to go back in and you don't get that gloop as you're pouring it. It's probably one of the most important jobs that you do on your vehicle is to change the oil. So if you plan to keep your car for a very long time, or if you want to sell it to somebody and know that you're selling something good, then make sure you do the oil. The oil is one of the biggest things. So this car has 162,000 miles on pretty much. I've owned it since it had 90,000 miles on it, and I paid £2,000 cash for it, and yeah, it just works great. So here we go, we can see that we're getting there on the dipstick. So I just want to top up a little bit more, and we're full. Remember to take it for a drive and double check the level. I'm doing this as part as a full service, so with the engine not on but the ignition on, press the menu button. So we're going to reset the oil. So gone to oil, and you're going to press and hold and clear it, and then it will show 100%. And then I'm going to write down my mileage ready for next time, but I tend to service the vehicle March time. I'll do an oil change, and then September I tend to do a full service, not only because my MOT is in October, but I also need to make sure the car is winter ready. Thanks for sticking around and liking the video if you have. Welcome back if you're a subscriber, and welcome if you are new. The links for any of the products that I've used in the video are in the description below, but you've got the QR code at the top at no extra cost to you. But thanks for watching, thanks for being fans.